everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I am Tony Gerdeman here by myself today. It's a breaking news edition of the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. Thanks to the commitment of five-star defensive lineman Marcus Fakatou out of Sierra Canyon High School in Chatsworth, California. Big news for the Buckeyes as they land one of the highest potential defensive linemen in the 2027 class, ranked the number 13 overall player per ESPN, but also the other guys like him as well. Number 45 overall per 24/7, number 56 overall per Rivals, and a guy who has a lot of potential. Listed around 6'6", 6'7", 270 to 280, depending on who you want to believe and what day of the week it is. And when you look at his frame, you see a guy that certainly looks like he can add more weight and still be able to maintain playing on the edge. And that's what he does in high school. And he is your prototypical strong side defensive end. He can do that in a 4-3. He can be a 3-4 defensive end. He can be whatever you need. He has the versatility to do. And thinking about his usage in Matt Patricia's defense, you could definitely see him playing defensive end with a weak side end or backer on the, next to him to give the Buckeyes a pair of pass rushers there. He's also a guy that's comfortable against run. He's a patient defender. He doesn't always just burst off the ball. If he's got contained, he's going to make sure that he does some reading and gets out to where he needs to be rather than just tearing off at the quarterback. So a disciplined player, but also a disciplined person. Adam Gorney at Rivals wrote up a really interesting story about him and his family and how he's originally from Alaska and on vacation in their Tonga, where they're from and have family. His parents decided to leave him in Tonga for a couple of years so that he could learn the culture as a child and learn the language and just go through all of that rite of passage kind of stuff. And then came back home and they sent him to Idaho for some football. And because they wanted more exposure in Idaho than Alaska, and while it is more exposure, it's probably not enough. And so then he eventually went to California and everybody that looks at him and sees him and watches him likes what they see. And anybody that talks with him likes what they hear. And anybody that deals with the family says, yeah, this all makes complete sense. It all adds up to somebody that you can put your time and effort in, and you're going to get whatever you put in, you're going to get more out of. I think that's how Ryan Day talks about it when you're talking about specific people. Whatever you put in, you're going to get out of and then some. And like Marcus Fakatou is one of those kinds of guys. And, like I said, he's big. He could end up inside. I think he's one of those guys that is maybe provide some evidence that Ohio State will be continuing to do this more out front stuff, because he's a guy that can be on the field in any alignment that you want. He could certainly slide inside when you need it. And I think he can also play outside. So he gives you that kind of versatility. And when you watch his highlights, he's an athletic guy. He's got good pursuit. He's strong. He's long. He's long as the day is long, and just a whole bunch to like. And we keep talking about this defensive line class, and there's a whole bunch to like there as well. And people, a lot of people, maybe present company included, way back when, we're starting to wonder about Larry Johnson. But man, what he's done, he continues to do with this class and building on that. You got DJ Jacobs, the number one defensive end in the nation, number one player in the nation, 6'5", 235. That's a great get. You got Wyatt Smith out of St. Thomas Aquinas, long, 6'6", 235, still filling that frame. Could be a 6'6", 260 kind of guy, 270 kind of guy. Number 95 player in the nation, number 12 defensive end. Then you had Marcus Fakatou, who is, like I said, he can play wherever you need. And that's kind of the guy that Larry Johnson likes. He likes having those pass rushers at 3 tech. He likes to have in the rushing package, those pass rushers that can slide inside and give trouble to the guards and centers, and he can definitely do that. Still waiting for that prototype tackle that is going to be a defensive tackle. That may be Carlos May out of Birmingham, who is set to commit to somebody July 18th. He's another top 100 defensive lineman. 6'3", 330. Will probably maybe drop some weight when he gets to Ohio State and then add back the kind of weight that they want. But if they could get that done, now you're talking about a recruiting class on the defensive line that, as a recruiting class, will rival anything Ohio State has probably done. Will they rival the production of the 2021 class with Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimoloau, Tyreek Williams, and Mike Hull? That's another question. It's a few years down the road, but as a class, if they can make that happen, if Larry Johnson can make that happen, that would be a special class. But as it is, with just the 3 guys they've got now, it's already special. And yes, there is the whole fact that you have to sign them come December on signing day. And we know that kind of gets everybody a little bit nervous, not just fans, but coaches as well, as they, almost, I don't know, but if no news is good news, like, do you don't ever want your phone ringing or buzzing, or do you, so that there's some constant contact going on? Because I'm sure around signing day, anytime the phone buzzes, you're like, oh no, what is this? What does this agent want? Something like that. And not that the Fakatous are that kind of family. Everything I've been told, that is not the case. And everybody knows that it is a business anyway. So even if calls like that are being made, that's just the nature that we're in right now. But with Fakatou, a guy that, like I said, is smart, is big, is long. This is a guy, even back, 15 years ago, if you didn't have room, you'd make room. And this is a guy that you'll just take and you'll figure out how to get him on the roster in terms of the oversigning, which again is obviously, we know that is no longer an issue. But anytime you can add a defensive lineman like this, coaches are just, yes, let's do it. And now with the NIL, it's a little bit more difficult, as you guys know, but a really, really good ad, a really exciting player. And it almost feels like anytime Larry Johnson gets one of these guys to commit, it's just a further indication that the connection that he has with players and the families, it's special. And nobody's talking anymore. It seems like, how much longer is Larry Johnson going to be around? They're just happy that he's here. And that's the players, that's the families, that's Larry, that's Ryan Day, that's the fans. So it almost doesn't come up as much, just because the proof continues to be there. And so does Larry Johnson. And so there you go. Marcus Fakatou, defensive lineman, Chatsworth, California, Sierra Canyon, the number 26 player overall, I believe, in the 24/7 composite, 5-star defensive lineman, one that Buckeye fans, I'm sure, are excited about. If you are watching on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the Buckeye Insiders channel if you've not yet done so. Hit the bell to be notified when we go live or drop shows like this, because you never know when it's going to happen. And then, of course, on the audio side, 5-star rating and review on the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. If you have not yet subscribed to that, please do so. If you've not yet subscribed to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning, please do so. And if you are a recruiting person, go ahead and give this past week's The Time and Change Will Surely Show a listen. It is all about recruiting, big wins, big losses, the present tense of recruiting and the future tense of recruiting. That's a new show that Jack and I have started. That is now 3 episodes in. Got another episode that we're going to be recording later this week. So that will do it from here. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you all later.